Can you reconcile these two?
Yes. Did you say criminology? Well, you see, justice is important, isn't it? So whenever you teach theology, you want a society, the good society, the best society, which means criminology is important because we have to understand why people do the things that they do and try to come to solutions.
Because of the brilliant way he has answered the question, we will stand up to give him Lagbaja clap. Can we stand up, please? Let's give him Lagbaja clap. I'm sure you have not forgotten. You say, hey, you know, do it like that. Hey, then you give it to him. Hey, 1, 2, go. Hey, hey, hey. Please ask him. Okay. No, don't go yet. Okay, the Vice Chancellor. You know, the women today, they are empowered and they are in charge. And men are being discharged.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning. Are you happy? I'm happier. So I just wanted to say hello and thank you once again for being here. We had a guest and we got a bit late, but it's because his mission is exciting, and especially the fact that he wants to make our theology better online. We are going to learn from him, and also if you can get a few students doing that online, we'll be very, very excited. So thank you for being here. Thank you for representing prayer and for being
different universities across the globe. Two universities. I do not enjoy a Lamborghini clap. If you want to clap, let's clap very well. 19 different universities gathering in this university. So making how many now? 20. So I'm going to, review my report. That 20 different institutions attended this conference. James. It is important to say that when we want to do the judgment concerning the best paper presenter, professors are excluded. Juliet, professors are excluded from this judgment. What do you want to give to professors? But you want to encourage the upcoming ones. So if you have vested any professor, remove the professor's name. Let's encourage younger person like MOP that can receive an award. Let me call on Tabitha. Please come and tell us the next thing to do so I can go for break.
Yes, I can.
Tabitha, do you know the meaning of Tabitha in the Bible? That Tabitha is seen as what? It's Dorcas. And Dorcas, Tabitha, symbolizes what they call a cheerful giver.
Yes, cheerful giver.
That when Dorcas seems to, and say, no, this one will not. People what you are. I know. This is what she has done. And people were showing different things, attributes, qualities, outstanding qualities of Tabitha. Oh my God. I wish I can take this Tabitha to Nigeria. Tabitha, what do you have for us this morning? So that we can go back at different institutions and say, this is what Tabitha
Give us. Don't go yet. You did tell us M or B.
Okay, so Tabitha wants to have time for me. M stands for Mubashir. Somebody say Mubashir. And you know the meaning of Mubashir? Mubashir means, meaning somebody who brings good news.
And in Bashiri, and a Bashiri Mazura. So you can see some Bashiri.
Somebody who brings good news, good tidings.
Yes.
And that's what I stand for by the special grace of God.
It must be a
My daddy gave me that name when I was born. So I don't know until I had to find out what's the meaning. So I'm a bringer of good news. You are going to be alive until you are 100 years old. Then the O stands for Olaiwola. Olaiwola. It's only the person who knows how to pronounce the name. Olaiwola, you're right. Meaning, wealth enters wealth. Good things. Wealth, prosperity.
wealth.
Yes, wealth.
Well, yes.
That's to give part of the wealth to the best presenter. And that person will get the money in euros. I'm not going to give dollar. I'm not going to give Kenya shillings. I'm not going to give naira. But I'll go to euro. Give the person euro. Euros is what I'm going to share. James will share with me this morning. So, distinguished colleagues, allow me to hand over this. Is it loudspeaker or microphone? Which one do I call it?
Microphone.
Microphone.
It's a micro.
Okay, it's a micro, not the loud phone. So, over to you.
Thank you. When I grow young, I'll be like Professor Mohammed. Thank you very much. I think we are very blessed this morning. I can see a big quorum. Thank you so much. And also there's a rush for everybody who didn't present yesterday. Everybody wants to present. So after tea, we are going to have a breakout room in CEC. If you are still yet to present, please see Dr. Kaberia. People may not know him.
Follow him.
He will tell you where your presentation is going to be, either here or CEC. We will run 2 presentation rooms concurrently. Okay.
When we finish, we're coming back. When we finish, we come back. Is the breakout?
Okay, so after the breakout, we will all meet there for lunch, and then after lunch, we will join here in the plenary, where we will get the. Okay, our break is strictly 15 minutes. There's a lot of information coming in today, and we are happy. Thank you, Professor Mohammed. Yeah, Dorcas Tabitha is in Acts chapter 9.
Yes,
and I feel very blessed to have received that blessing. Thank you so much. So let us pray in the interest of time. Father, in Jesus' name, we continue to bless your name. Thank you so much. Thank you for a very fruitful morning. And now as we break for tea, we want to ask of you to bless the tea. We want to pray that even as we talk and fellowship, your presence will accompany us. May you bless this that is before us, in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Welcome. Our tea room is available.
yangu iko. Sio uiweka.
Pamela, there is a question from Professor here. Who is still in charge of the online presentation? Online presentations. Yes. The moment they are ready, we just correct it and just stop this presentation here. Yes. We shall adjust as they come. When they are ready, we check. Yeah, but we are going to control their writing.
Ndio.
After Amala, he can come. Yes.
Yeah.
So those who are going to the group B, we have you, please set yourself there. And those who are going to use your computer, you are not setting. You can go there, let the audience will follow you there, you get started. We are 3 minutes constraining time. About ready for me for Mala is setting, the teacher is also there. If I read your name for that room, kindly join that place. And don't wait, just go there and start. The audience are waiting for you.
Video. Uko na pale unashanaje? Washington. Unipiga picha bwana. Picha itapigwa. Sikuwe karibu. Kani mbele. Mbele kani. Okay. Hii ni nyuma.
We are getting started.
We, nyuma ni hiyo, sawa. Okay. Good morning. Some people are talking. Good morning.
Kindly, who is chairing this session? Who is chairing this session? Yes, Falani Daktari. Rapporteurs, who are rapporteurs? Dr. Shitu. If Dr. Shitu is not here, yes. Shitu is here. Dr. Shitu is sharing, yes. Falani is also here. Yes, the two of them, please. Take your seat there. Rapporteurs, who are rapporteurs? I think I can pick Dr. Nyambe, kindly do the representing for us, and then we'll get started. It's exactly 10 minutes.
You have taken already my minute. Okay. I'm Dr. Alfred Murumba Wamala, Head of Department, School of Education. I want to present my paper, and my paper is mainly on special needs education, ICT, digital innovation in education for learners with disabilities. I know special education has very few people. I may be the only one who is presenting. And when I was listening, there were very few people who said they specialize in special needs education. Now, education empowers citizens and reduces poverty among the people. In the process, it enhances livelihood. Globally, 33.4% of learners with disabilities are out of education. And the challenge is, we find that these learners are out of education because of their problems, especially disabilities. Now, when we look at the world, the World Vision says 10% of the general population globally has children with disabilities. So this one, when we say 33.4% in Africa or developing countries, it means majority of our learners in our continent are out of education. So we want now to embrace ICT so that we include learners with disabilities. Now, when we talk about disabilities, we must look at the three terminologies. One, impairment. The second one, disability. And then the third one, handicap. So when we look at the three, disability is in the middle. When we start with impairment, impairment comes with injury from accident, from diseases, from genetic and so on. And this impairment will now lead to disability. Which means when one is impaired, injured in an accident, or injured through a fight or any other cause, and is not able to do what he's supposed to do, then we say is not able. From the injury that was acquired, the person has a disability. Maybe he has injuries and the lower limbs cannot function well. That one becomes a disability. And therefore, because one is injured and has a disability, is handicapped, cannot walk, is not able to walk. Or if you are slapped properly and you lose your hearing, is a sort of injury which will lead to hearing impairment, or you become deaf. So you will not be able to hear. And if you are not able to hear, you have handicap in hearing or in vision, or some of our learners with disabilities may have. You are giving me one? Oh, sorry. Some of our learners also have problems, what we call mental retardation or intellectual challenges. It may be genetic, or they may be having problems of brain injury. So they have a handicap in learning. When they have that problem of maybe they were injured, maybe they were born, and those causes of disabilities, including disability, you will find that they have that problem. Okay, fine. So, as we move on, when these learners have those disabilities, impairments, handicaps, how can we save them from their sufferings? We have to talk about IT, information technology, assistive devices that can help them learn, like computers. We can have other devices which can enable them. When one is maybe physically handicapped, we have wheelchairs. We have calipers and many others that can enable them walk. So that is technology. And that is how it can make persons with disabilities function like other normal learners. Now, there are so many benefits of ICT to learners with disabilities. Okay, the benefits include these learners will have a future. The learners will be prepared for future because they will be able to join education. These learners will also, it will make them more engaged, and being engaged, getting information, they will now have time to learn like other learners. They will be able to be included among other learners, especially those ones who have not been acquiring education. So we must ensure that when we embrace ICT, when we embrace communication and technology, we shall not leave out our learners who have disabilities. Now, we have a general term which we talk about special needs education. When we are talking about special needs education, is an umbrella terminology which includes those ones who have disabilities. The domain of disabilities are visual impairments, hearing impairments, physical disabilities, and maybe mental disabilities. But we have learners who are disadvantaged, like those ones who come from poor families, those ones who come from pastoralist families, from the streets, those ones whose mothers are in prison, those ones who suffer from other things. So we find that these learners are disadvantaged, and that is why we say they have special needs education. They have needs for education, but they are not able to get that education because of the problems they have. I've been threatened here to rush, but you know, ICT has also disadvantages because for learners who have disabilities, we have such learners like autistic learners, those who are hyperactive. Now, when we give them these crutches, when we give them computers, they will be maybe confused, they will concentrate, they will go to certain information that is not required and waste a lot of time. So we have to understand that our governments, especially in Africa, should ensure that these learners are included. Take, for example, our institution. When one has disabilities, let's say physical impairments, will this person be able to reach VC's office? No, because it has no ramps. We don't have lifts. So if one has wheelchair, will he be climbing those steps? So infrastructural designers should make sure that we include these learners. We should involve them. Those ones who are severe and profound are in their homes. They should be reached through talking computers, talking smartphones, and so on. I know this topic is supposed to take even 1 hour, but because you are on me, I'm saying from here, I want to say special education should spread and help learners who have those challenges. I want to thank former Registrar Madam, who insisted and we introduced special education here. Is growing very fast. In fact, last week I registered 3 students. I'm picking some departments which are still sleeping. Okay, thank you very much for listening. May God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Amama. Kindly, when you come here, let us observe time. We have 7 minutes at the most. And right now we have an online presentation from Nigeria. That's where all of us are getting focused. Adewale, Dr. Adewale.
Sorry, sir. Can we deal with this before we go to one online? Can we deal with this one? Let's ask questions. So because it's going to improve the work and send it back.
Okay. Some requests here from the chair of the conference. The questions, 2 minutes for questions and answers from this presentation by Dr. Amala. Amala, Vicky, get the questions.
Thank you so very much for the brilliant presentation. I must tell you that the world, UNESCO has adopted one of the variables in the topic, and that's disability education. And I'm sure Africa has also accepted it, because in Nigeria, we have adopted it. So 2 variables have been exposed here. The first one is the issue of digital innovation. So we expect doctor to emphasize this digital innovation and to emphasize ICT advantages. Your work is not on ICT per se, but rather on digital innovation. People want to hear what are these innovative ideas and marrying it with also what is called managing the disability. So, sir, I want to suggest a new topic for you. Topic will now be
managing learners with disabilities. I'm telling you, digital innovation in managing learners with disability in sub-Saharan Africa, or you can domicile it in Kenya. Then we're expecting you, sir, to emphasize this innovation in digitalization, and also how can we manage learners with what? Disabilities. That would be the emphasis, and by the time we finish, we are written about it. Thank you. If you need a paper from me, just contact me.
Yeah.
I have written on, and Dr. Shitu, where are you? Okay, see you too.
Yeah.
On how to manage learners with disabilities.
I will
Thank you.
see you. I will even get a photo with you.
Thank you so much, Chair of the conference. Thank you, Mama, for the very topic. Now we want to request Dr. Mamuzi kindly to be our rapporteur. What do we do now? Sorry, I just need, sorry, sir. Our chairman. I need to also say that those disabilities or learners, we don't call them handicap again. UNESCO has already changed that. They're not handicapped, but you can just say special needs. Learners with special needs. You know, everybody's handicapped. According to the counseling psychology, every man has some decrease of madness, mental illness. I can become mentally derailed and show my mental derailment to Tabitha. Thank you, bro. I think I want to request Dr. Odari, kindly come here and present the opportunity for us. Dr. Ship is our permanent chair there. We appreciate it. Then we have a online presentation from online presentation. Dr. Adewale, we are ready for you. Yes, Adewale Sani. Yes, we are waiting for you. We are online. Okay, kindly, can you unmute? Dr. Adewale, can you unmute? Okay, kindly, Dr. Adewale is like, it's not online, so we shall, okay, I'm here, let me do my presentation and then can come over. As I'm being connected to the system, I want to do a brief presentation, 7 minutes. Timekeeper, make sure you, if I use 7 minutes, you work. Now, good afternoon. Yes, Professor, we have had presentation from yesterday. We have had presentations from yesterday, but I can say that all the presentations that we have had have so much leaning towards digital planning, management, that is the IT era. This time round, I want to bring something on policy. I'm a student of policy. That is what I teach, that is what I learn. And I want to bring something on resource allocation models. Models have been used across the world from times immemorial. In Kenya here, we are very much aware of the bottom-up approach by Professor D during the last elections. That's an approach to mobilize resources from the bottom, that is from the border people, from Mama Boga and the others, to, let's say, to the top. In this case, I'm now looking at bottom-up approach, digital era, and the background here is about from developed world and then to Kenya, and to check the relationship between allocation and academic achievement. What are these educational resources? resources, I think this one is a common area. We know the students are there, facilities are there, the class size, time. What is the word view on this one? This is where we are using the funnel approach. That is the Canadian, they have a council of managers of the secondary schools. In America, they have board of management, just like in the case of Kenya. And here we have the school-based management and board of management categories. Now, in resource allocation, we are talking about models. And these models give the guidelines on the composition of the management, on how to allocate resources to different departments and such. We have these benefits that go to schools as a result of organized models of channeling resources to different departments. We have the first professional model by Rebel 2007 and Oden. And this one is a model that incorporates the views of professionals. They go out the field, collect data, they analyze it, and then they advise on which way to go. We also have the strength of that one, that is they offer broad-based empirical evidence, clear guideline on the criteria, and also the ratios on the resources to the learner. That's like the teacher to the learner, books to the learner, labs to the learner, facility to the learner. We have the second model, which is successful district model. This one picks on the areas where resources have really given results in terms of relationship between resource and academic achievement. We have the cost function analysis. That is where what you spend, you look at the returns. Which one gives you optimal returns with minimal input. We have institutional-wide resource model, and this one is again looks at or allows us to keep the resources, allows institutions to keep resources and generate and manage them from there, and then pump them or direct them to those areas that are very key or priority areas, but then underfunded. We have a comparison model. We have comparison of those models there. That's a table which I'll make it available within this period. And then we are saying that after the analysis of this result, this study was carried out in Meru in 3 streamed schools. And they used a survey design. After the analysis, there was found to be a very strong relationship between spending and student performance. The study also concluded that the wise use of resources not only makes financial sense, but also has implication on student overall academic performance. Students are in school for academic performance, not for anything else. Just like in football, it doesn't matter how smart you play. What matters is what? The goals that you score. Then, after analyzing the results, that's empirical evidence from the field using 3 streamed schools that had started between the scope of 1960 to 2010, I came up with a resource allocation model called the Hybrid Resource Allocation Model, EXPRAM, Priority Resource Allocation Model, where we have at the center the background characteristics or the entry behavior of the child from the home, or let's say it's high school. What grades did this kid bring in, or what attitudes did this kid bring in from the previous experience? That is like, for example, you have A students, you have B students, you have C students, and those who are joining from the nursery level, they have some background because the mother or the parents are the first teachers. And then from there, we have categorized the resources into personnel. This is the student, the instructors, the staff, the supply, that. We have interpersonal relationship, that is where we have this personnel relating to each other and the outside world. We have facilities, the classes, the labs, and others. We have the instructional resources, the books, libraries. And then each of them would attract and form an algorithm, which is a regression model that will give you the order in which you are going to allocate the resources within that category. If it's personnel, which is the most important or crucial personnel. If it's teachers, teachers come first as agent. So we need more of them. You can have front of facilities and the student without the teachers. So that regression model will give you the order in which you allocate the resources. And then we have like education being the light of the world, education being the equalizer, and therefore should attract optimal resource allocation, which is informed by data and not at the will of the board chair or anybody else's voice. This is a comparison of the models. That is why we have loaded that with the numerical 1 and 0, where a certain criteria fits in. And then in conclusion, we have reviewed a missing connection between the ingredients that are identified in running the institution by expert panels and the student academic achievement. The relationship should bring in optimal scores with the minimal input. We talk about efficiency and effectiveness. If one teacher is able to handle 500 students, that is very efficient. If one teacher can only handle the ratio of 1 to 45, which is a convection ratio, that is, the teacher is effective but not efficient. Thank you. The chair is.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Dr. Kabera a round of applause. Very much for that insight presentation. We are guided by your presentation where you emphasized the need for efficient and effective allocation of resources. And to do this, you relied on several models, one of which is cost-benefit analysis model, another one was comparison model, and the other one was professional model. Out of these models, he developed a hybrid model which is going to allow institutions of learning to efficiently manage. Thank you very much. In case there are any questions, you can direct them to the attorney here, you can quickly answer them. But
thank you, sir. Please, once again, let's appreciate Dr. Kabera. Distinguished colleagues, what I've observed in the presentation of Dr. Kabera is that he has adopted PowerPoint approach. PowerPoint approach, not board points. What most of us do, and we call PowerPoint, is not PowerPoint, but word points. This man has been able to systematically marshal out basic things, and it wasn't to speak today. So I'm impressed. God bless you. Having said that, I look at the title, Dr. Kabera. You said a critique. That word, a critique, will not necessarily be there. Because what you have done is to give us an expository, insight into what is happening. So critique, meaning you want to look at the strengths, the weaknesses. You can just remove the critique and just say resource allocation and so it will still flow. Another thing I observed in the title is that it was not domesticated. Where are you talking about? Are you talking about the schools in the world, in Africa, in Kenya, in Nigeria, or where? Let's know. Then, having said that, there is also need to ask if the work looks like is a qualitative approach that you have adopted. But do you know that you can make the work to become quantitative, such that you will collect data, analyze data, and make the work to become more robust? That you'll be talking empirically. That's one of the things I want. Again, when you are to run up your work, you didn't give us any recommendations. It should be. The recommendations should be based on your findings. What are you recommending? What are we taking to the table? What are your recommendations? You need all these things. And I think what I'm saying this morning afternoon is actually for all of us to look at it. Alright, because very soon I'll be going to another center to see what is happening there. I've told Dr. Pamela, she's still laughing with me here, that you should assign somebody who will take me to the other center. So, because once we start now, I'll be waiting until that person finishes. So thank you so much. Where's the chairman? Dr. Shitu, chairman, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that wonderful observation by Professor Helmut Jimenez. Let's give him a love clap. Love clap. Nice, love clap.
Thank you very much. Let's do that once again. Hello, love clap, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Hello. Online presentation. Let us get ready for the online presentation. Let's listen attentively. Hello, the person ready? I want to know if that person is ready. Yeah, it's on.
Thank you very much. Please, the next presenter is Dr. Adekola. I think it's online presentation. And Dr. Adekola, you have just 10 minutes to present your paper. Thank you very much. Please, Dr. Adekola, you need to share your PowerPoint to us so that we can have a view.
The chairman and the whole house.
Please share your slide.
Okay. The chairman and the whole house.
We are with you, but we are here to see your slide. Are you ready, or we should give you some time so that you can get yourself prepared?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
So,
I'm ready.
you are ready.
Yes, sir. I'm ready, sir.
We are here to see your
The
slide.
chairman and the whole house. My topic is entitled Digitalization in Human Resource Practices in Education in the 21st Century. By Adekola Oyèbánjí Adéyẹmọ.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adekola. Thank you very much. We are here to see your slide.
Oyo State. Yes, I will show the slide now. This paper presentation at the Presbyterian University of East Africa, Nairobi, Kenya, in collaboration with the Association for Education Planning, Lagos University Branch, between 4 to 7
Please, can we have another presentation? Because since he refused to, still trying to sort himself out. So we may not be able to see, because we cannot see the person, we cannot see the slide. So it's like we're listening to audio. So can we have another presenter here? Thank you very much. The next presenter is Mr. Ishuki Mwangi. So, effective of environment and cultivar types of cassava. Cyanide content. Thank you.
This is. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. is Dr. Philip Mushuki. I'm presenting, I have a presentation on agriculture, and this is about the cassava. So, if you are a lover of cassava, actually, you should be very, very much attentive to hear some of the issues concerning cassava. So, I'm talking about the effect of environment and cultivar type on cassava cyanide content. So, as we know that cassava is the third most important food source in Africa, after maize and beans. So, cassava consumption is both in human and animal feeds is associated with a certain health problem. The objective of this study was to evaluate the effect of environment and cultivar type on the cyanide content. What is this that I'm talking about, the cyanide content? Cassava, as it applies to so many roots, so many plants, has a type of has a cyanidic glucoside, which is found in most of the plants. But cassava has almost 5 types of this particular kind of chemical. So, and therefore, it is a human concern that we need to analyze how to reduce this particular kind of chemicals through agricultural methods. So in human, there are some clinical signs of acute cyanide intoxication, include rapid respiration, drop of blood pressure, rapid prostate, dizziness, headaches, stomach pain, vomiting, diarrhea, mental confusion, and twitching and confusion. So sometimes someone can even convulse, and in most intoxicated way, it can actually result to death. So it is a thing that is of great importance for us to know and even to understand how can we manage all these particular kind of problems. Under this, we came up with a certain way in which we were looking at in various agricultural way. Point of maybe clarification, what is this cyanogenic glucoside? This is a chemical that is found in most of the plants. It is found in most of the plants, and it is not harmful to human. But when you consume, especially when it is consumed in cassava, it is hydrolyzed by our enzymes. And through that hydrolyzation and the gut microflora, that is, as the cassava moves away into our alimentary canal, this gut microflora and the macellation, as you chew, you come up with a certain, that cyanogenic glucoside, it is converted to a hydrogen cyanide. So a hydrogen cyanide is a respiration poison. So it can lead to death, conversion, so rapid respiration. So some of these issues are associated with the cassava because it has some several chemicals that are likely to have problems in ourselves and even can cause death. So under this, we analyze some research that was done in 2020, and this research we analyzed about 3 vaccine or research methods was done through a randomized complete block. So this is a research that is research science that is most common in experimental research. And varieties, we had the three that I had actually said. So we also had another treatment. We had three treatments: the varieties, the area, and the soil nutrients also as treatment. So we had three treatments: fertilizer application of NPK and as well as the potassium. Now, we are looking at the effect. What are these effects? So the first effect we see is the effect of age on cassava cyanide content. So we have a problem when you harvest cassava at an early age. Okay. So an early age. So it means that when you have a cassava, harvest cassavas within 6 months, the cyanide content is likely to be more even than when you harvest cassava with 12. So if you look at the graph, you can see that when you harvest it, the more the age of the cassava, and the cassava, the lesser the amount of hydrogen cyanide that is contained in it. So we also looked at the effect of fertilizer and content in cassava. Do you have a problem with the fertilizer? If you add more fertilizers, do you have problems? So as according to the research did not find any problem with the addition of fertilizer or the reduction of the fertilizers. So we also looked at the chemical, I don't know what this one is here, effect of cyanide. There is a problem with the unique content here. So we also look at the effect of temperatures and moisture content in the percentage of cyanide content in the cassava. And the study here found that the temperatures and the moisture content is a factor as far as the content of the cyanide is found. So if you look at the climatical factors, which is temperatures versus dryness, you see that there is the two dots shows that there is significant difference between all the others. Even temperatures multiplied by moisture, which is T times A, also shows some significant differences. So there is the differences between, there is a significant difference between temperatures, it's affect, moisture also reduces, and so it means also significant, and as well as the time. So another factor next to the last is that the effect of storage time in cyanide content. So the more you store the cassava, the lesser you reduce the cyanide content. So as far as that one is concerned, you see the graph around there, you see that the more the storage, 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, and the rest of the life, against the contrary, you find that the cyanide content in cassava is somehow reduced. So these are some of the agricultural practices that can be able to help us reduce the amount of cyanide content. So in the cassava. So in conclusion, the study reveals that certain factors may lower or increase cyanide content in both leaves and roots for cassava crop. Another factor is temperature, moisture content, age, and storage times may affect the overall cyanide content in cassava. And lastly, the study confirmed that the safety of the cassava is not exclusively a genetic, but influenced by other environmental and storage factors. So, and that is more about my presentation. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate him, the cassava researcher. Any observation, comments about his oral presentation, let's have it after, at the end of the other people's presentation, we have it holistically, so that we can just note it down and we respond to the questions accordingly. So, can we have the next presenter? Dr. Manyata. You're welcome, sir. I welcome you effusively. Okay, thank you very much. Let's listen to Dr. Mayata, who is here to present his paper titled Teachers' Perception of Their Preparedness for Equipping Primary School Learners with Functional Competencies for Digitally Innovative Work, the case study of Embu County, Kenya. You have 7 minutes to present your work. Thank you very much for coming. I wish you fruitful presentation.
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Manyata, in the School of Education. So, I want to start by saying that children are born to learn and not to suffer. I have a people in South Africa one time son that was born to suffer. But I want to say in this study that children are born to learn. That's why this topic is teachers' perception of their preparedness for equipping primary school learners with functional competencies for digitally innovative world, a case study of Embu County in Kenya. So, in introduction, we have observed that the world has become extremely digital and technological for people of all ages. So whether we are prepared or not, the digital world should move on. Children are digitally curious, but ill-informed and equipped to navigate the digital world. The presentations even in this international conference, we have heard that ICT can lead to suicidal tendencies among children and youth. Responsible adults are expected to equip children with functional, technical, and digital skills so that they are prepared, and with the preparation they can be able to make informed decisions instead of always seeing as if digital engagement will always cause them harm. Preparing children well for digital world is vital, and so the question is, are adults prepared for the task of equipping children with technology? Research objective, the main objective is to determine the extent to which primary school teachers feel prepared for equipping learners with functional competencies for digitally innovative world. For digitally innovative world. The variables, dependent variable is the teacher's feeling of preparedness, and the independent variables that I will consider is age, gender, teaching experience, professional training, computer skill training, favorite subjects, and access to technological facilities, and including that the Kenyan government is making on teachers in order to prepare them for the change in the educational system from the 844 to CBC. Due to literature, most of the research done is so much on the harm that technology can cause children, as opposed to the advantages that the children used to analyze that. The results, teachers perceive themselves as not prepared for equipping learners technologically. Differences by age, gender, professional qualifications, computer training, favorite subjects, or number of gadgets easily accessible, and the tuning were all significant. When we tested the hypothesis, the differences were significant. Conclusion: teachers perceived their preparedness for equipping learners with digital skills to be low with their demographic differences, not in study. Recommendations: the study recommended inclusion of digital literacy in pre-service teacher training, colleges, and continuous upgrading of digital knowledge and skills through continuous teacher development. Down there, you can see the digital literacy, and this digital literacy as a core competence, one of the core competencies in CBC here in Kenya. You can see it informs all the other core competencies: communication and cooperation, critical thinking and problem solving, imagination and creativity, learning to learn. Almost all the core competencies are digital literacy based. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mayata, for this didactic presentation. Let's appreciate him very well. So whatever comment, observation is based on his presentation, you can jot it down after we have it and ask him the relevant questions, and he will answer accordingly. Thank you very much. Next presenter. Okay. Dr. Amisi Babuza. Hello, Dr. Amisi Babuza is the next presenter. Dr. Babuza.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Please, can we have your slide? Share your slide to us so that. So you are the next presenter. You need to share your slide so that we can have it here, view it, so that we can follow your PowerPoint presentation.
The PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
How do I present the PowerPoint?
You share the screen. You share your screen.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, give me just 1 minute and share the screen then I
educate them there, can share it there. We have the next person. Then we can have the next presenter so that he can sort himself out.
Yeah, next presenter can come so that he sort himself.
Okay.
Dr. Babuza, probably we can give you some time to prepare yourself so that we have you later. Thank you very much. Let's have the next presenter. This is Dr. Anna Nduta Masha. Influence of religion on homosexuality in same-sex boarding secondary school, a case study of the Kiru sub-county care. Dr. Anna Nduta Mashaya. I will use this opportunity to ask questions from
Let's check for Babu service ready.
It's not online.
Do you have the link?
It's not
You have
online.
the link?
It's not online. It's not online.
It's not online. There's another one we're waiting for. But let's wait for the two of them. Whoever comes first.
Okay. So can we use that opportunity to ask questions from those that are present?
That is it. Questions so that
Thank you very much. The presenter is still trying to sort things out. So let's welcome questions, comments from the presentation we had so far. Any comments? Any questions?
here, sorry for the delay.
Dr. Mabuza, please can you share your screen?
Please share your screen is the button now.
It's very crucial here. So that the participants can see what you are presenting.
Screen capture it. So I'm sharing now. This is screen share. Is my screen full?
So you still need to sort of save
My screen visible? Can it be seen?
no, you can share it. If you don't know how to share it, truly you can see sharing screen from that system. And from there, once you click on it, it will show you all the files they ask you to click on it and share the slide to the audience. Okay. Thank you very much. Who is the next presenter? Can we have the next presenter? Yeah. So, what's the presentation?
I think it's
What's that?
The stational factor is also
Okay, Babusa, okay, sorry, thank you very much. I would like to step in. So, Dr. Babusa, you have 10 minutes to present your papers. Yes, yes.
Hello, this is Dr. Mrs.
Okay, so that's my paper. It's called use. Sorry?
Yes, technology stress, yeah.
Can you see my screen share?
We are here to see your screen, sir.
Hello, Chair, can you hear me? Hello, Chair.
Dr. Babusa, we are here to see your screen. Please share it again.
Can you see my screen, Chair?
Oh. No, sir. Please, we have you later, Dr. Babusa.
Can you see my screen?
We cannot see a lot.
So, Ms. Babusa. Dr. Aderoke, are you ready?
The teachers need to respect their teachers because the kids are singing about bedtime after class and they're supposed to go home. So they're supposed to, one is teaching them to keep time, the value of keeping time, and also teaching them respect teachers because they are saying respect to their teacher, and also respect to their parents and appreciating them. So the teachers, the learners were excited after hearing their mother's voice spoken to them after they studied them. Then another video is called the Because of Evil. This video is about a lesson kid who the mother is trying to wake up so that he can go to school, and the kid says that he has a stomachache, but later the kid agrees to go to school. So this video encourages the laziness. It encourages kids to value education and go to school, and encourages them to keep working up early. And then the other video is called Wimbo Salam, greeting songs. In this song, the learners are taught the values of how to greet their elders. For the elders, they're supposed to greet differently, like Shikamo, Marahaba, not just like abilities. So this video is teaching them how to speak their elders, their mother, their fathers, their parents, guardians, teachers, anybody who is older than them is aware of. So that's one value in that greetings. Then there are this video is discourages one should be satisfied with what they have, and if they tend to be greedy, then they have to face the bad consequences. Then we have Wimbo Familia wa Kicheka, or the family loving song in English. And this song is teaching the kids respect and family, how to respect families and how to value families. The song is about a happy family, by all the father, the mother, the grandmother, the father are all hustling together with the kids. So it shows a happy family, teaching the kids the value of our family. It's also teaching respect to elders, because in that video you can see the elders, the father, the mother, the grandfather, the grandmother sitting, and the kids are standing. So kids are not supposed to sit and not enough sit, but they should give first priority to their elders. So this song is showing it is still going to teach kids respect to their elders. And the other song is Maua Mazuri ya Kiingereza, or Buzz Me. This house and the flowers without good plans. So it teaches kids to value their environment and observe it, and also to value nature, sing about the bee, and encouraging singing for the bee, to escort them to fly and see good flowers and make honey for them. The last song is Wimbo wa Jamii za Kenya. This is a song about different communities in Kenya, teaching the kids about firefighters of Kenya. And this song, it encourages the values of loving and respecting people and other kids of other communities in peace and harmony. So in conclusion, Chair, Babusa TV is a model faced by education stakeholders as it contributes a lot in educating and training kids who are the future of our society. And last time, Chair,
audience will respond to it accordingly. Thank you very much for this presentation. Thank you very much. The next presentation. Please, let's meet this person.
Hello, Chair. I've completed my presentation.
Thank you very much. You still need to wait online so that you listen if there's any question for you later. But we are going to have another presentation now. Thank you. Thank you very much. The next presentation is institutional factors as
Good afternoon. I'm standing on existing protocols. As a precursors for tertiary institution effectiveness by Adela Jolofumilari Abosede and Adebayo Adenido. Education is powerful and purposeful and intentional. Education has brought each one of us here today so that we can be well informed, capable of rational thinking, and establish a sustainable society. Education plays a significant role in the generation of population of engaged people in any country with certain goals and objectives that must be accomplished within a specific time frame. Tertiary education plays a crucial role in facilitating education, and it helps the national society. Tertiary education in Nigeria, by the National Policy of Education in 2024, the federal government of Nigeria outlined the objectives of tertiary education as follows. The process of obtaining, cultivating, and fostering the appropriate moral principle necessary for the well-being of individual and the society. 2, the enhancement of individual cognitive ability to comprehend and value their surroundings. The attainment of both physical and intellectual proficiency that will empower individuals to become valuable contributors to the community. And also the attainment of an impartial perspective on the local and external. However, over the decades, after 1980, the situation has undergone some transformation that served as a result of worldwide examination malpractice, academic corruption, and inadequate finances. However, organizational culture, factors that enhance organizational effectiveness. This paper is talking about 6 factors of organizational effectiveness, the institution inclusive in organization. We're talking about human resource management, talking about communication factor, we're talking about career development, and also talking about reward system as factors in enhancing organization effectiveness. My colleague will take the 2 other factors. Thank you.
Still standing on the existing protocol, we have just 6 organizational effectiveness, and she mentioned first, I'm just going to talk about the 2, which is the ICT effectiveness. And of course, everybody knows that without ICT, there's nothing we can actually do to make our work perfect. That's ICT infrastructure. And the last one, human capital development is one of the major facilities that was used for human being. And also, when you're talking about human capital formation, we're talking about the aspect of technical vocational education and training programs. In our university today, it cannot be ignored because all our students, the young ones coming up, need to be equipped with so many of our vocational training centers. So, in conclusion, an important factor in the accomplishment of educational objectives is human resources. In Nigeria, schools and higher education institutions, the availability of institutional factors is a prerequisite for effective and efficient administration that will enable the enrichment of staff and student objectives as well as post-secondary educational goals. In order to attain post-secondary education goals, it is imperative that Nigeria and other countries implement the 20 characteristics listed in the paper shared. Functional audits warns the HR system and procedures, such as career development, training and development, and organizational development are examined in the process. Government should also increase the budgetary allocation to TVET to increase the capacity of human and material resources in tertiary institutions. And of course, that will lead to our human capital development. Government should take a meticulous look at the provision of adequate modern facilities and make sure that the ones that are not well doing should be replaced. Then finally, HE needs to allocate
Thank you very much.
Questions, observation about their presentation, we can jot it down later, they will respond accordingly. So the next presenter is Dr. Ishola Aderonke.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you? So you have 7 minutes to present your work. We are hearing you. Please go ahead. You have 7 minutes to present your work.
My name is Ishola Aderonke. I'm here to present a talk titled The Role of Information and Communication Technology for Enhancing Innovation in Educational Administration. Introduction. age educational administration. However, the inconsistent understandings about how to enhance innovation to be making it because two major research objectives were considered for this research questions. Two major research questions were used for this research. Number one, what are the roles of the ICT in enhancing innovation in educational administration in the digital age? Secondly, what are the hindrances to the adoption of ICT in enhancing innovation in educational administration in the digital age? Methodology. This paper was based on the primary source, which involves expert opinion from lecturers at Educational Administration, Emmanuel Alade University of Education, Oyo, Oyo State, and also secondary sources such as books, articles, journals, thesis, online, and internet sources. The research method was qualitative, and the responses were analyzed using a thematic analysis. Results and discussion. Research question 1. What are the roles of ICT in enhancing innovative in educational administration in the digital age? And experts noted that ICT is itself and wide databases of information and resources online, thus exposing people to diverse perspectives and ideas that can fund their innovative thinking and cause them to remain to arouse the creative minds, which help them to develop, generate, or adopt new ideas, or behaves in the field of educational administration. With this digital technology, ICT therefore enhance innovation among educational administrators. Research question number 2. What are the hindrances to the use of ICT in using innovation in educational administration in the digital age? Experts will say that administrative staff reluctance to adopt the ICT poses a major hindrance to the innovation in educational administration in the digital age. Another it was stated that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ishola Aderonke. Listening to your presentation, your time is up. And let's appreciate her. So,
ICT as a digital technology.
Your time is up, ma'am. Thank you for the presentation. Questions on your presentation will be asked later. Still join us online to follow the program. So at the appropriate time, any question directed to your paper, you answer it accordingly. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And the next presenter should be ready, which is Dr. Anna. Please come forward. Influence of religion on homosexuality. Thank you very much. You have 7 minutes to present your paper. Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And Dr. Attraction, emotions, fantasies, self-labeling behaviors, or a combination of them. And for the purpose of this study, I will define homosexuality as a romantic attraction between students of the same I have witnessed the rising cases of homosexuality in our schools, and I've also witnessed the wrong intervention that is meted on the students who are said to practice homosexuality. So you can agree with me that homosexuality is actually an elephant in the room in our boarding secondary schools today. I will look at the introduction and say that a study done by Udaraj in 2020 in USA indicated that early childhood development factors could lead and result to same-sex relations in school. And religion being one of these factors contributing to the issue of homosexuality. And the study used descriptive survey to carry out the investigations. And I would also like to say that the study was conducted in same-sex boarding schools in Kikuyu Sub-County, Kiambu County. And Kikuyu Sub-County is where we are seated today. And for the target population, the study targeted a population of 1660 from 3 students from the same-sex boarding schools in this county. Among the schools have been listed there, Alliance having 45, Alliance Girls with a population of 532, Moi Girls Kamango 196, Musa Gitao 216, Kikuyu Boys 111, and Kikuyu High 150 students. On to the sample size, a 10% sample size of this population was taken, totaling to the first school 45, Alliance Girls 53, Boy Girls, Kamango 20, Musa Gitao 22, Kikuyu Boys of the school. On the data collection procedures, a total of 106 questionnaires was administered to the 6 same-sex boarding schools. And this data used a quantitative, this study used the quantitative data and also the SPSS version 5 to carry out this. Ethical consideration was sought and informed consent was obtained. And on the tabulation and the findings, they have been tabulated as indicated. And maybe just want to explain a few of the findings. It was noted that 11 of the respondents agreed that religion prohibited same-sex relations, and 8 of the students were reported to be unsure. And this implies that the respondents agreed that they were aware that religion, various religions are against homosexuality. And one of the teacher counselor interviewed also reported that Christian unions and other religious affiliations played a part in curbing homosexuality in school, and so this should be recommended, and especially to mitigate this vice of homosexuality in schools. And when you get to the conclusion was that a majority of the students, that was ranging to 54.2%, agree that their religion did not allow same-sex relations. And it was also agreed that most religions in the world prohibit unnatural sex. And also, they also agree that homosexuality is termed as evil in most of the religions in the world. And on to the recommendations, I would say that it is highly recommended that that most of the students in these schools should be highlighted and should be instilled with strong religious morals, and that will help in curbing these same-sex relationships in school. It is also recommended that we should promote dialogue, listen to them a lot, so that we can be able to identify what issues they go through that lead them to get into homosexuality. And then guidance and counseling in school. With basic counseling in school so that they can be able to handle these students instead of just punishing them, giving them suspensions, and expelling them from schools. And the same case to the school administration and also the board of management. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your gigantic presentation. Let's appreciate her for this wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. Observation, comments on your presentation will be asked later and we'll respond accordingly. Let's go to the next presentation by Reverend Dr. Kibara. Please. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. So you have 7 minutes to present your paper.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to present this paper. My name is Ibarra Titus. I'm in theology. So I want to deal with contextualization of artificial intelligence, ethics into African contextual theology, the dilemma of agency. And basically this paper is about ICT ethics in education, what African contextual theologies can contribute to ethics, and also looking at the likelihood of redefinition of AI or artificial intelligence in terms of theological, in terms of theological scholarship. Agency, in this case, we're talking about if you get who God is in terms of our philosophy as the unmovable mover or ultimate causality, then we realize that even in artificial intelligence, humanity and the machines so this paper is to find whether this can be integrated into scholarship and ethics navigated around contextualized African context of theology, and not just theology in its totality in terms of contextualizing. And the statement of the problem has something to do with the shortcomings or in terms of AI in Africa as it is now. Theoretical framework becomes a bit elusive because efforts to find agency, theories that affect in terms of definitions of agency are as elusive as the AI itself, depending on who is defining. Today you find one theory, and the next day you find another one. I think the most critical presentation are what I would come up as the findings, and I have 3 basic findings. The first one being that by engaging with African contextual theology, policymakers, technologists, and communities can work together to create a more inclusive and responsible approach in AI so that Africa does not feel left out. And there are 3 things to note. The perception is driven by, number 1, non-existence of the demarcation between ethics and morality in African worldview, which further means that ethics in African worldview have more to do with deterrence. And deterrence, by definition, by what we know, are fear of evil. That is what drives us our ethics in Africa. The second one is that African contextual theologies provide valuable perspective in development and integration of ethics in AI in terms of scholarship, and especially in the continent, because we also have to define our own, other than what comes from the West. And how does African perception of a revelation of God, because this is theological, in terms of neo-orthodoxy versus naturalism, God revealing himself in a son Jesus Christ? Africans have this
dispensation, in our dispensation, we are very much inclined towards natural theology. Our stars, we see God. So to that end, revelation of in our African worldview is very strong in naturalism. So as we talk about artificiality in AI, what does that mean? It means as Africans, we have to redefine this artificiality that we are talking about. In fact, my understanding of artificiality in AI is something that will take Africans quite some time to embrace, because Africans, by our very nature, we are not artificial. We see God in every aspect of creation, in our rituals, in our thought system, in our philosophy. God is everywhere because as Africans, we are notoriously religious. The last one is that AI has the potential to impact faith in Africa in a profound way, like use of AI in religious contexts. And there has been robotic priests and AI-powered prayer apps. However, let me say this. Africans, by our very nature, we are sensory. We are not systematic. We like touching, hearing, seeing, smelling, and feeling. So, to develop such robots in AI that have feelings, that have emotions, until that happens, then I think our sensory more than cognitive faculties experience. Now, in conclusion, agency, as it were, I came across this writer, Gareth 2006, who has classified this artificiality, artificial intelligence into the Western discourse. So when he talks about Western Eastern discourse, we are Africans, we have to have a redefinition of our own as Africans, where we have to include a third category, and that is the category of functionality. Because in Africa, what works is what we go for, not efforts to explain anything. We are phenomenological. We don't labor to explain things. We describe them as they are because they work for us. And the areas of further research is what I've referred to here as systematizing agency of humanity's machine artificialism as contrasted with the divine's machine naturalism. Because AI is about the interplay between humanity and machines, and in this case, humanity versus the divine. Because to us, God is the cause of everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can do better. Let's appreciate it very well. Thanks for your presentation. It's educative. Questions, comments on your presentation, we ask later and we will answer accordingly. Thank you very much. Now we have the next presenter, Dr. Maye. You're welcome, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I've been given 7 minutes. I'll try to simulate my presentation. And this one is trying to look at a survey that has been done and where we are with our CBC curriculum, where we found that the registrars in the country are in the center of these education reforms. And that's where an experiential survey was done in the 78 universities, because I know you say there are 79. OUK was not there at that particular time, that is 2022 and 2023. And my topic is addressing the digital gap between lecturers and students in the AI era. And as I've said, it is an experiential survey of Kenyan universities. I've said there are 78 universities that did the survey. And we start with a clip by ITN so that we see where we are. They are trying to look at ITN business, upcoming programs on AI, where will we be in this technology. So as they're looking for it, I'll be able to go ahead. As I said, we're trying to look at the experiential, moving from the traditional methodologies that we know to what we call the experiential survey and online survey. We started first the register, then second it was done with the Commission for University Education in trying to look at getting awareness on what is happening. So that when you look at the mandate of CBC or the education reform, they're trying to look at how we can be able to address the educational issues into the 21st century. And most of the issues that they're looking at, we find that our students are so much ahead of us in terms of what is expected. And there are 3 questions, if I talk about, okay, let's look at that. The ITN Business Upcoming Program on AI. Continue presenting. So from that clip, you can be able to see we're talking about AI and big data, empowering tomorrow. And that's why I was talking about the issue of CBC as our education reform that is trying to address that. Okay, on the introduction, the world of academia is now grappling with artificial intelligence as a way of learning and testing. And the 3 questions were addressed on this area. What is the cause of the digital gap between the lecturers and the students. Then how do we close the gap between the two? And then how do we harness the technology? So from what we have seen on the upcoming program on AI, this study looked at two models. That's the AI iceberg model. And this model exhibits analogies that are useful for understanding complexity, complex ideas. And there are plenty of complexities for educators trying to wrap their heads around AI, and especially the ChatGPT. And the model pictures an iceberg floating in the ocean, or maybe on a cliche educational infographic. And the visible part above the waterline is relatively small compared to the massive structure hidden beneath the surface. Now imagine that this iceberg represents the large language model, like GPT-3 or 4, with its different components distributed. We are talking about the students copying using the AI is just an iceberg. But what is underneath in terms of what we are supposed to do? So we look at the large language model, and we look at the data set, and we'll be looking at what are some of the recommendations or what are some of the conclusions on that in terms of that iceberg. We also use the division of innovation theory. Remember that all the time we are not the same in terms of how we adapt to situations. So this theory, which was developed by Rogers in 1962, identifies the 5 stages of diffusion. And if you looked at the diagram, you'll be able to see where we belong, especially the lecturers. Where do we belong? Most of the time, we're in the laggard part of it, or we just come late, as late early adopters or late adopters in terms of what is happening, and you can see the students are so much ahead of us. So for that reason, as I said, 3 questions were being looked into. The methodology, as I said, was experiential survey, which is used to adopt to consumer technology trends, such as shopping receipt survey, mobile optimized survey, gamification, and recently student academic experience survey. We have seen all this. Remember yesterday we were being told about the students even using the M-Pesa to multiply 1 shilling to be 20 shillings or 20,000 shillings to pay their fees. They have now moved from there to our classrooms and even to our exams. And even when they copy, it comes out so smart that you cannot even be able to understand what is happening. So when we met in this training, it's a survey of all the 78 universities in Kenya, and the answer was that the highest number of students use AI ChatGPT in their study. And have any mistakes with all the references, even when you put it onto the Turnitin, plagiarism, it doesn't give you any mistakes. And that's where we are. What are the findings? One of the aspects that was found is that the issue of learnability. Yeah? When we look at the issue of learnability, you find that our students are very inquisitive compared to lecturers. And the lecturers are still adhered to the traditional methods of teaching and even assessment. You give an assignment 20 years down the line, you're still giving the same assignment. The time, you find that the time students have all the time compared to the lecturers, so they can be able to explore more than the lecturers, and they can be able to get these technologies and use them. The age factor, you find that these are young people, and what is happening, you find that most of the time they are better learners and explorers than those who are teaching them. They are ahead of us. And that's why I talked about the issue of CBC, trying to see how can we be able to do that. The issue of the rigidity, you find that let me not talk about resistance to change, but rigidity in terms of what you are doing, that this is what I want to do, and this is how it's supposed to be done. You see, where a professor will tell you, I know more than you, there's nothing you know, and yet you are ahead of them in terms of what they are supposed to do. So, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is adaptability, yeah? That we need to adapt, get skills that can be able to help us to adjust to new situations and change in terms of the issues that are there, because they need that we get into better strategies. We look at the issue of changing our mindsets. We have open-minded ways of looking at things when encountering these obstacles, constructive criticism, and we need to address what we call unexpected changes. And because of that, the recommendation, which is even now going on, is our education reforms that are being adopted. And the education administration and planning in Kenya now needs to borrow from the Nigeria education administration and planning. And that's why we are talking about curricular review to cater for what we call educational reforms, and especially with now CBC, competency-based curriculum, and in university we are talking about competency-based education, and that's where we are. We have already been given a roadmap, and we are working on that, and the university already has a committee that is doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that didactic presentation. We appreciate you. And we have questions, observations about your presentation. We ask later and we respond accordingly. So the next presenter, can we have you? Dr. Kalia, welcome. Thank you very much. The next presentation, titled "To Establish the Motivation for Student Involvement in Sporting Activities in Public Secondary Schools in Imenti North, Sub-County, Meru County, Kenya," by Dr. Kalia.
Okay, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
This is seemingly our last presentation, so that then after we break for lunch. It has been a long session, and our sugars are down, but I promise to take the shortest time possible. This presentation was to be done by one of our former students, Shem Nyaga, but unfortunately he was not able to join us. So I'll run through it very fast. The research topic was the motivation for student motivation in sporting activities in public secondary schools in the Imenti North Sub-County. This is a topic in the area of education policy. The objectives are written there, establish the motivation for student movement in sports. And the methods, there was descriptive. The key findings: students participate in sport for physical fitness, socialization, mental refreshness, health, and recommendations were that school administration should promote the benefit sport because of these benefits. The focus was schools often prioritize academic activities over sports, and the importance was related to physical education. Challenges: when there is reduction in physical activity, this leads to issues of physical abnormalities like obesities, diabetes, and a lot of other fluency-related issues. The need for study, that is, our motivation for this study was because the students who participate in sport, in specific context, have a motive behind it, and we wanted to establish that motive. Literature was reviewed, and then we went to the social skills development in the sports.
Then we went to the emotional benefit, that is the reduction in stress, enhanced focus on academic. There's a lot of related cognitive benefits. We talked about the design, that is the survey, and the results that physical fitness contributes to 82% of those who agreed on physical fitness as a contributor to the overall good of the student are 84.2%. While 53 agreed, this is a Likert scale tabulation. Those who agreed that physical fitness is important for mental refreshment, mental alertness, they were 83.3. And those who agreed that physical sports can help reduce stress was 47.3. Reduced, okay, there was also some other result, that is 3% agreed that schools should provide, or schools provide sufficient resources, such as playground, such as the teachers, sometimes teachers also get partly motivated in these exercises when they are patronizing or when they are refereeing or when they are involved. Especially competitions, which comes even with a lot of psych, a lot of good feeling when you come and go and win trophies. In conclusion, motivation for sports is a key area that derives the participation. If you are not motivated, or if there is nothing that is exciting you, that is pushing your feelings towards it, then you would participate. And there are a lot of benefits that are associated with it, like I have said it here. Recommendation that schools should promote the benefit of sports, should promote sports for the overall benefit of the learner. Equally, this one spews to the teacher, especially those involved either in cheering, in the sporting, in running the sports. We should allocate and effectively use the funds to improve sporting activities in schools. Thank you. That brings us to the conclusion of our day, the two-day presentation. Thank you so much, Chair. There's no clap for me. Thank you. At this point, I think I will call in Pamela, the chair of our committee this side, and also actively involved in the chairing here, to take us through the remaining balance of this conference.
Thank you very much. Please keep your questions because you are told food is getting cold. Thank you for chairing this session, for moderating and chairing at the same time. Dr. Shintu is also chairing, so let's clap for our chairs for that. So I would like to call lunch, and we urge our visitors to go first. Immediately after prayers, we urge you to go to the dining room first, and then the others will follow. We don't want you to miss lunch. I hear some people missed because they were still taking photos. So after lunch, we'll come back here, we'll listen to one virtual presentation, and then we'll close. We'll also ask questions after the virtual presentation. Thank you.
Kindly let us remain upstanding. Almighty God, we come before you. With thanksgiving for the provision of food. We know that it is out of your abundance and your mercies that you've given us. May we partake it with thanksgiving. In Jesus' name we pray.